Alright, so I managed to get another laptop going so that I can just start recording on that laptop while I have the audio on my computer, just so that there's less lag and I can record in a better resolution for you guys, because I really didn't like the old resolution. But uh, in my previous videos, I was talking about how I was sort of taking a break from DMT, and for some reason, since I was testing out this batch that was pretty impure, I ended up smoking it last night, and I wasn't expecting to have any type of trip. I was just trying to see how potent this certain batch was, but I ended up smoking a large amount of this impure batch that I thought wasn't going to cause a trip, and I ended up having a DMT trip without really planning it. And I wouldn't really call this experience a breakthrough. It was more of a first level. Well, actually, it was a bit of a breakthrough. It was a first level type breakthrough. And when I smoked it, I basically blew it out the window and then started to lie in my bed. And then I felt the pretty heavy body load that I feel when I usually have a breakthrough type experience, and I started to see the specific patterns emerge. I guess you can call them the hallucinatory form constants. But this trip, the visions weren't exactly bright. I think that was due to the potency of the batch. It just wasn't as potent. I'm sure if I smoked like a huge amount of it, it would have been a lot brighter and a lot more visually, in your face and completely vibrant and very colorful. But it still was really aesthetic in terms of the geometry that I was seeing, because what I was seeing was, it was almost like patterns that were dancing around. It was almost like it was doing a waltz of some sort, but I couldn't really make out any specific entities that I was seeing. It was just a sensation of seeing this thing, and I didn't really feel displaced really from my reality, but it was definitely the beginning stage of a breakthrough, or I guess a sub-breakthrough dose. And I actually felt that I wasn't able to breathe as much, and that usually happens when I'm in a deep breakthrough, so it was kind of bizarre that I was actually experiencing that sensation of, oh my god, I'm not breathing anymore, and that's what kind of signals the ego death experience. But in terms of the visuals, as I said, there was no entities really. It was just this patterning stuff, and there was a lot of dimensions to it. I can't really explain it too well because I'm assuming that it was harder to make out, and also I did it at like 5:30 or something a.m. No, it was like 5:20, pretty much 5:30. So it was still dark out, but not... actually, yeah, there was no lights out. So I only like to do it in silent darkness, so it was good that I had that experience while it was still really dark. And but there was a big light out in my window, which kind of bugged me a little bit. But in terms of the visuals, I wish I could have drew what I saw, but it didn't really have a complete structure to it. It was very spread out throughout the whole visionary field. There was definitely depth to it and definitely contours and stuff, but it was mostly just geometric patterns, and I couldn't make out any specific archetypes that I was seeing. But and also there was no real carrier wave, I don't think, or any sort of auditory hallucinations. It was purely just a visual experience. But when I opened my eyes, my room kind of seemed more animated. There was geometry kind of glistening off of things, and it looked a little more crisper. Like, you know how Terence McKenna talks about things being crisper and more. It's almost as if it's been sharpened. Everything, the corners and edges of things have been sharpened, and it seemed more geometric. And there's a funny thing that happens when you open your eyes on DMT, because it feels more animated and it feels kind of not choppy, but there's this there's this almost as if it's been rendered by some sort of program that's built for animation or 2D animation. It seems more two-dimensional, but way more volume and complexity to it somehow. I like looking around on DMT when I'm sort of coming down from it, just to see how my perception is a bit different. And this was really really enjoyable, I think, for me. I didn't have any fear or anything, because I think it was too not weak of a trip, but it was a low level breakthrough experience, but definitely a solid experience. I'm assuming that if anyone has not done DMT before and they had that experience, they would be like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. But I'm used to really intense experiences, so that was just it was a good put my feet in the water kind of deal. I wasn't exactly ready to have a full-on breakthrough, but it was definitely good. I felt more content with certain intrusive thoughts that I was having. It kind of blocked those out after the experience, and I felt more centered and not really thinking about things that cause me distress. I know that doesn't really last forever with me, but it's interesting to note that there is a temporary change in your, I guess, ability to cause your own suffering by basically thinking about things that cause you distress. And it didn't really cause much distress for me at that point. The certain thoughts that I have, it blocked those out, and I was more sort of in the now and not really dwelling on things that caused me to have anxiety and depression. Now that I'm out of it, I'm pretty sure that stuff's gonna come back for me. But it's actually been less. It's not as bad as it's been before. But other than that, like I think I'm starting to heal a little bit. There's things in my life that are looking up for me, and so I have things to be excited about. I've made some new friends with the tattoo artists and stuff that I went with an interview. So I'm actually hanging out with them more, and we're gonna like do DMT together and stuff. Or well, I don't know if we're gonna do that. I don't know if I'll have time to do it with them, because I always have to go home at like 9 o'clock to pick up my mom. But it's cool that I'm getting to connect with them and really make friends with them. I really connect with them a lot, and yeah, they're into psychedelics too, which is cool. We're really similar people, so it's nice to meet more psychonauts and people that are interested in a lot of the same things, and I really admire them as artists and stuff. And yeah, I hope I get to chill with them more. It's definitely a good thing that I got to meet them. But I'll probably be having more DMT trips in the future, and probably going to be trying to go for a breakthrough. I actually think I'm ready to do an oral DMT experience. I think I need that kind of thing to really reset my mind, because I feel like I've just been in a slump that I want to really roll the dice on and try to kind of see things in a different perspective, because I think powerful experiences like that seem to radically change my perspective on certain things, and I feel like I really need that at the moment. So I hope this was a interesting little video for you guys, and I'll also share some of the drawings that I've been working on. I've just been doing flash designs and getting feedback from the tattoo guys that I've been hanging out with. And yeah, they're teaching me how to draw American traditional type style stuff, so I'm hoping that I can get somewhat good at that. And I also have to do some script practice and learn more about that stuff. But it should be I'm doing pretty well, I think. I'm making progress, so I just got to keep it up. And I will end this video with a little bit of a recording that I did of my Chifra Flight of the Bumblebee. I have my lessons starting up again, so I'm trying to not get rusty and try to, get my agility back. And I think it's doing really well. I'm actually surprised that I've maintained a lot of my agility, even though that I haven't been practicing as intensely as I used to, just because I've been focusing on my art portfolio. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.